I call the shots, I never call it quits. Trust my intuition, bet it's right and bitch, it often is. Seen too many others come and go, they had the wrong intent. Do it out of love and never for it, then I watch it get bigger than expected. Don't second guess it, I let it set it. It's God's plan, we out here only accepting blessings. I'm stuck with it, this mindset is terminal. In and out different terminals, leveling up is personal. And I already made it, y'all can miss me. I smack my girl's ass, tell her pinch me. It's hard to believe I made something from nothing. No hindsight discussions, I've been writing, I love it.
Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, just sometimes misinformed. Danny G sitting alongside my guy Jimmer tonight, and how we doing, man?
Not bad, my man. Yeah, enjoyed a long weekend of watching football, though. I am digging that.
Yeah. Back, it's starting to feel normal again, right?
Yeah.
Watching the games and getting upset and then, having our hearts broken, but then patch back together again in the Vikings game. And
heart attack. I didn't have this many white gray hairs in my beard before the game started.
Yeah, 100%. So. Man, it was a good weekend. I guess the big thing for me lately is it's getting cold. It's fall officially. Right?
It's kind of like our temperature, right? Because we're easy sweaters.
Yes.
So we're like spring, fall. Fall doesn't last that long.
Yep.
Spring kind of does. It was always muddy, right?
Yep.
So this is kind of right up our alley. This is our time frame right here. This is our time to shine.
That's right. I'm ready for some bonfires and just late night chilling like that. But with all that said, there's definitely a lot going on, man. Let's get us some updates here, bro.
Yeah. We'll start with Browns defensive end Myles Garrett. Has been discharged from the hospital after treatment following a one-car crash where his Porsche 2021, if you want to know the year, went into the ditch and rolled over. He did have a female passenger with him. Both of them came out okay, though.
Lucky.
It was right after. Shortly after he was at the team facility, like 3 p.m. For the record, clearly stated, there's absolutely no suspicion of alcohol or drugs. So,
good.
Just purely, I don't know if he was speeding or anything like that, but
shit happens. And, it's in those cars, it's hard not to speed, right? I feel like it's pretty natural to go a hundo in those, it feels normal. Like
no, just kind of, kind of takes off with it. First thing I thought of was this ginormous arms. There's no way that car was crumpling. Definitely not around his arms, that's for sure.
Yeah, dude, he is jacked as fuck.
Right. Remember when he didn't wear the shirt underneath his jersey, and then he got random drug tested?
Weird. What happened there? Yeah, I am glad he's okay, though. That defense definitely needs him. The offense is kind of putrid, so I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah. This one I'm sure you've seen. Make sure when we put this video up, I'll get a clip of it. Bills offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey says he'll learn from meltdown in the coaching box after loss. This dude lost his shit up there. I don't know if I've ever seen a coach in a press box do that. I don't even know if I've seen him go that bad on the field like that.
Dude, it was so funny. He was looking for things that he could slam. Like, it was the most awkward. He's just pumped up, but he couldn't get it out. Like, oh my God. I'd have been pissed too. I get it, but damn, man. Flipped it. It was great. I mean, there's so many videos going around, and oh, dude. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Every time I see it, I crack up.
He was looking for the old Microsoft Surface tablets that Tom Brady just chucks with no issue.
That's exactly what I thought. Like, first of all, why do you have that much paper? I feel like there's better ways to do it. And then you could just slam that tablet and get a new one, right?
Right.
That's a little weird, but yeah, I pissed off for good reason, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. Did you see, speaking of which, a little bit, did you see Tom Brady, the NFL sent out a warning to every NFL team about the use of the tablets? Because I do believe, unless I'm misinformed, the NFL provides those.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also a huge sponsor for them, too.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if the NFL has to pay for them, if it's part of that sponsorship deal, because they're exclusive. There's no other tablets that you can use. You've got to use those. Players aren't going to care. If they get pissed off and break it, they're going to pay for it. They've got plenty of money. So I doubt there's any issues there. I don't know why the NFL would be worried about it, I guess, The
only thing I could think of is Microsoft gave them a call like, hey, that's a bad image, like people throwing our tablets. As in, like, because it could be misconstrued that they're pieces of shit or something. You know?
Okay.
The image of throwing those on the ground and breaking them like that. It's also, even though it's being thrown at a pretty damn good rate to the ground by an NFL quarterback who is paid to throw things, it also may not show that they probably don't want to show the durability or lack thereof. Either way, I guess I don't know. But my point is that just the image of it. I guarantee it had something to do with the sponsors.
Yeah, I could get behind that. That makes sense. On the other end of that, I've never heard people talk about the Microsoft tablets more than ever since that happened with Tom Brady, right? So it's free advertising,
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Didn't we say when we started podcasting way back when? I'm like, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
100%, sir.
Good, bad, everything. If people are talking, that's a good thing.
Yeah, Jerry Jones is a very big proponent of that.
Right,
he doesn't give a shit.
We'll get into what I think is pretty damn big news, because there's even some in here that I'm going to tell you that I'm missing. Week 3 injury woes across the NFL, my friend. We're talking about stars everywhere, every team. 49ers tackle Trent Williams will likely miss 4 to 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Chargers tackle Rashawn Slater, torn biceps, out for the season. Linebacker for the Chargers, Joey Bosa, groin week to week. Pats quarterback Mac Jones, severe high ankle sprain. They say week to week, but that if it's 4 to 6 weeks for big Trent Williams, I'm gonna venture a guess and be the same for Mac.
Yep.
Giants wide receiver Sterling Shepard tears his ACL. This poor guy just can't stay on the field.
Yeah, it's tough. He was looking to be a big part of that offense too. He was the main receiver at this point. A
go-to guy, you know, and a leader. Let's see. Dalvin Cook, day-to-day with the shoulder. Evidently, he's in a strap-up. He did this last year, too. I don't know if you knew this, but he never got off-season surgery on it.
Yep.
So he chose a rehabilitation thing, and we're kind of back where it was last year. So anyone that has one Alexander Madison is feeling pretty decent right now.
Yeah, 100%.
DeAndre Swift out through week 6 bye, it's looking like, with the ankle and shoulder. The ankle, he went into the game with the ankle, high ankle sprain. The shoulder, he gained in the game. So that's not to mention all the wide receivers we were just talking about. Michael Thomas. I think his is like a toe.
Yeah, I think it sounded like it.
I think it hurt as like a toe. There was another couple of receivers, but it was not a good. It was not a good week for injuries.
Even in the Vikings game, Monse Brown was hobbling. He didn't look great in that second half. So I don't know what's going to come out of that. Maybe he'll be fine. I haven't heard anything, I guess. So
I haven't either, but he was not looking good.
Yeah.
He was looking rough.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was just a bad weekend of injuries. It's hard to keep up with all of them, but those were definitely some big ones.
So we talked about this earlier this season. I think all three of us at one point had the Chargers making a deep playoff run, maybe even being in the Super Bowl, right? And the only thing that could stop them, in our opinions, was themselves in one of two ways. One, either the coaching, or two, injuries. Injuries are starting to pile up into their main guys. That's not to mention Herbert with his cartilage injury.
Yep.
He's trying to battle through.
Yeah, we'll talk about how great they didn't look this weekend, but the defense is starting to get dinged up along with, especially when you talk about Keenan Allen. He's such a big part of that team. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal, and they seem to be jinxed, man. And
their top offensive tackle,
one
of the, I think the best one from that draft also, clear cut. So that's a key position, a key player at every major position. Keenan Allen, quarterback, offensive line, defensive line. Just oof.
Yeah, who was it? Their safety too that got hurt. It might have been before that game.
Derwin, or the other one?
I gotta think about it. I don't think it was Derwin. I thought somebody else got hurt, but I could be off on that. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But yeah, they're dinged up all over. It's no good. You know who else should be on that injury report? Your guy from Miami, old lefty. Okay.
Old lefty. We will get to that. Actually, we'll skip right to it since you touched on it. NFLPA wants a review of the concussion protocols after Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa's quick return to the game. You just alluded to it.
Yeah. Jimmer.
What did you see?
Well, so I saw him get up and then basically stumble. You know, if this was an old boomer, right? Rumbling, stumbling, like it's exactly what Tua was doing. He could not stand up hardly at all. It took him a while before he seemed to kind of gain his composure and things like that. He 1,000,000% had a concussion. There's no question in my mind. And a bad one at that. I've seen guys pop up that end up with concussions that you're like, oh, they seem totally fine.
Yep.
This seemed to be way worse than that. So that whole situation is fucked.
And his helmet hit the ground hard. So there was no question. Did you recall what the Dolphins' excuse was? Like how he got back on the field?
No, I didn't.
They said the stumbling all over the place, that was stemming from a possible back injury.
False. What the fuck?
Yes. That's what they're coming out. I'm like, how does what? You see, this dude was like that 3 a.m. You're the fucking dude at the bar. You've been getting hammered since 2 p.m.
Yes.
You know, drinking till close.
Yep.
That's what he looked like.
Yeah, because it wasn't like he was struggling because his back, like when he got a tight back or something, it was almost like his head was too heavy. Like when he first got up, he was fucking leaning with his head. Yeah, just all over bobbleheading it. God, man, that's so shitty. Because if he's your future, if he is this team's quarterback for the next 10 years, you can't do that. It's not that one game against the Bills was not worth it. You know, what if he had another one? And that shit, and then he's fucked for the season or something, right? Like, God, just mismanagement. That's god awful to me. But
especially something that clear cut. We were talking off air, and each possibility of a concussion in a game is reviewed by an independent neurologist, not a team doctor. Team doctor might be there too, but you don't get cleared by the team doctor. You have to get cleared by an independent neurologist.
Yeah, because there's supposed to be no incentive there, right?
Right.
If you're a team doctor, you want your main guy out there. So you might say, yeah, he's good to go.
As long as the team's doing good, I'm doing good because I'm going to get taken care of financially.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Independent. Is it feeling like it's that independent? On that scenario, at least?
Not in this situation, no.
Because there's no way. There's no way he should have been out there on the field.
Yeah. Not at all, man. Like I said, when this whole thing first started happening with the concussions and stuff, they would just at the slightest hit where it seemed like maybe something happened, they were so quick to pull the trigger and say, concussion, you're out for a game, or at least the rest of this one, and then depending on how you do. And I don't know if every team's starting to move to this or not. I guess I haven't seen enough concussions recently to really notice, but in this situation, it's bad, man. This is not what the NFL allegedly is trying to do. So, man, I could foresee some problems here because
I thought, and correct me if I'm mistaken, but I thought that it's reviewed outside of the stadium too. It's like the video, they're the ones that call in and say, hey, you need to check this dude out. So you also had another set of eyes that said, hey, you need to – I'm pretty sure that gets called in also. Like it's being watched by doctors too.
Yeah, so
that's part of it too.
They can initiate the concussion test or whatever, right? Maybe there's a play that happens, nobody notices, and they can be like, hey, pull that guy out. We need to do a test, right, to see if he has a concussion. But then that's where the independent person comes in to say, do you have it or not? Either they were dead wrong or Miami is sketchy as fuck, and they're like, hey, he's going to play. And
they were able, or he was able to
fake it. I don't know if you can do that.
I don't know about the fake of when it happened, but the fake of like the answers and then him going straight complaining about the back.
Yeah.
You know, no, man, you were stumbling all over the damn place. Yeah. No, man, my back. Like when I got hit, my back, and that, you know, made me off balance.
Yeah.
That'd be one hell of an acting job then.
Yeah. At the very least, man, you saw how he landed on his head.
Yes.
Okay, no concussion. Let's just chill for a little bit. Okay? And then, you know, if you're good, you're good, I guess. But, no, yeah. I don't like it.
Especially about a league that's all about safety, right?
Quote. Safety.
Nets guard Kyrie Irving says he gave up a 4-year, $100 million plus extension to be unvaccinated? Two-part question for you there, Danny G. First one, do you believe him? Because he's also been under fire about the holding nets and wanting to leave and this, that, and the other. And two, if you do believe him, did you gain even more respect for him if you turned down that much money?
Yeah, it's hard to say with what comes out of Kyrie's mouth, like what's right or wrong. I know part of what he said was he felt like he was being basically blackmailed into getting, or if that's the right word, into getting the contract. It was like, you get this or you don't get a contract. And I think that for sure was happening all around the league. I think there's a lot more in the NFL too, for that matter.
Yeah.
But would I gain more respect for him?
For sticking to his ground, I should say. His morals or whatever his beliefs are.
Maybe a little bit. Because if that's true, and they were going to offer you a big contract, 4 years, so you're guaranteed you're good for 4 years. You don't got to worry about anything. And you're willing to, quote, risk it. Okay. Yeah, there's a little bit of respect there, but I don't know how true it is. I don't know how much I believe what he's saying entirely.
And that's my only little hang up on it. I don't know if it's in defense mode right now, like trying to make it like to let everyone know he's not a villain and he's throwing something out there. I'm not sure. The Nets have always been a shady organization too, so it's not like it isn't like I'm saying the Nets are right here, but $100 million for a shot.
Yeah.
Don't care what side of the fence you're on. You're definitely reconsidering it if you haven't had it for $100 million.
Right. Yeah.
Like, hold on. It's been a good ride.
Yeah. Yeah, this is life-changing money. For Kyrie, maybe not so much life-changing, but
I guess
the 4 years is probably the bigger deal for him, than the 100.
Well, they said it was also, they basically made lines or suggestions that he wouldn't be playing in this league anymore, not even just with the team if he didn't anyways. Because every team, kind of looking towards, they'd rather not roll the dice with the unvaccinated player, and certain towns they wouldn't be able to play in.
Yep.
So, I don't know, kind of right there with it.
Yeah.
Keeping with the NBA there, Danny. Actually, let's go back to the NFL because we skipped one.
Oh, let's do it.
The NFL will replace the traditional Pro Bowl game with skills competitions that will lead up to the NFC/AFC flag football game on February 5th, 2023.
Let's go.
You're excited about this?
This is so much better. Then you're not having a fake football game on there. Yeah, because I don't know, what I missed back in the day the most about the Pro Bowls were the skills stuff, dude.
Yeah.
It's
when I was
fun
a
as
kid,
hell to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're a kid and you get it on, like, I didn't have cable very often. So whenever it came across on, like, CBS.
3, 6, or 10, bro.
Yeah. Boomer Esiason even out there. Well, what was that? Jeff Blake, I think, a little bit.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Young
I'm here
Favre.
for it. Yeah. The only thing I feel a little bad for is, like, the big guys. Like, what's going to be in it for them at this point? Because basically now everything is about skills, right? Skills, positions in skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the big guys, how are they going to get their time to shine a little bit?
Are you talking about skills competition?
I'm talking about just a chance for the, like, linemen, right? Especially.
Well, I get
to
that.
shine,
Well, I get that, but you're still going to have offensive linemen on the line and defensive linemen trying to rush the passer.
Okay, so maybe that's something I don't know. It's not going to be 11-on-11 flag football, is it?
I assume so.
It's a little weird, but okay.
Yeah, big field though. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll be 3-on-3.
Still, I guess I
line.
shouldn't knock it anyway. Still way better than what they've been doing, I think.
Yep.
So,
In the skills position, you'll see some weightlifting with those guys, bench presses, dragging stuff. Push pull. I guarantee they'll come up with something to watch that'll make you interested in watching the big boys go to action. So
I'm here for it, man. Yeah,
I am.
Try to do some World's Strongest Man type shit, right? Throwing kegs and fucking doing shit like that with these boys. That'd be fun.
Yep. Like I told you the other day when you messaged me, this has already been happening. It's just awesome that they're finally calling it that, and that they actually put a flag on them to where the play just stops, because we already were. They're playing two-hand touch, if that.
Yeah.
You know, it was so painful to watch. It was abysmal in every way, shape, or form. It took any little bit of like whenever a player would get MVP, it didn't mean anything. And like, dude, they literally could pick from 6 different guys because nobody tackled. Everyone had 75 yards and a touchdown, bare minimum.
Right.
You know, it's like shit sucked.
And it's
Downright.
gotten worse and worse every year for like the past at least 5 years, maybe more. So
Every year, and it's quite honestly, besides what they would pay them to participate in the Pro Bowl, it's mainly the players' fault. They're too worried about the money. They used to play this game with a passion.
yeah.
There was a pride. I want to show you I'm the best running back in the fucking league. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're showing I'm the best receiver in the league. There was a pride between that.
Yep.
They don't do that. They don't care. We're all from the same, you know, it's kind of like basketball is a little more like this than football, but it was all AAU nowadays. You know, they all played together. You know, they've all grown up doing this together, and
Yeah.
just know. So the players, I blame the most for it because their competitiveness and wanting to be and to show that they're better than you. They literally can show you. I'm going up against the best in the NFL on this game day in front of everybody. This is my time to shine, baby. And nobody has that type of chippiness about it. Now, the only way you could get them to do it is pay them more money. They tried a little bit. They did that, $1 million or $2 million to the winner,
Yeah.
$500,000 to the loser. So, I mean, you're still getting paid regardless, but an incentive to try. Half-ass.
Do you think I'm all for players getting paid?
So am I.
Do you think it's that way, or it's more on the owners not wanting the players to get hurt potentially if they're now having to pay more money, like you just said, which is totally true? They don't want to risk the players getting hurt, which is why there's less practices, or less, actual contact practices and things like that.
Here's my problem with that. And because they've done this in the NBA All-Star game, too. What is the average score of that? Like 200 and 199 or some shit?
Yeah, might as well be.
My problem with it is how many, and we could type this in, but I'm going to venture a guess. If there's one, I just can't remember. How many players in NFL history in the Pro Bowl literally lost a season of football or their career by injury in that game?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like how often does that happen? I mean, yeah, it sucks. I mean, they could do that. We literally watched that happen to who the hell was that slipped in the shower or something just before game day and cut their hand and they couldn't play.
Yeah.
You literally, I understand you're more likely when you're doing a physical sport like that. I get that the likelihood's higher, but how often do you really?
Maybe back when
history.
Lawrence Taylor was still here.
Maybe because he's
there
trying to
were
kill
some
people.
boys, yeah. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, like there's probably a hand in both. Like, from each side in the pot, right? Because ultimately the players negotiate this shit, and then the owners are definitely involved because they don't want people to get hurt, and it's just making everything softer. So at least they're acknowledging it's getting softer, and here we are.
See, and I'm all about it. I'm glad that we finally moved on because there's no way they were ever going to return to the old school version of the Pro Bowl. So
Right.
that I already get that. So I'm glad we have something that you may actually see some competitive nature in.
Yeah, flag football's all right, man.
See, it's a double-edged sword to kind of combat the ownership side of that, though. And that's free publicity for your football team. Even to try to attract other people. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like you produce like in college, you produce a Heisman winning quarterback, and you definitely do it more than once in recent years, like Oklahoma, then you're going to keep drawing quarterbacks in. Because they see what you're doing with them. Same thing there. I mean, they don't need it as much because whatever, but I just mean like you see the star there, like the Emmitt Smith days and the Michael Irvin,
Yeah.
Running down there, the Barry Sanders. You're gonna draw more attention to the Lions, for instance, to watch, or maybe you buy something. Maybe you buy the Pro Bowl jersey, and part of the proceeds or whatever, part of the profit goes back to the team too because it has their insignia on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
I know it's not quite the same as if you lose your franchise quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but
No, I can get behind that. Yeah, for sure.
it's kind of what I'm getting at is it's disappointing that we lost that game altogether in the sense that they just never could get the competitive spirit. But I am glad that they moved on to something that maybe we could finally see the competitiveness again.
Yeah.
A little bit of pride.
Yep. 100%. I'm all about it, man. I'm all about it. The skills competitions are so good.
The skills ones, I'm definitely 100,000% down for.
Like football school, like whatever. At least you acknowledge. You might as well play two-hand touch, because that's what they've been doing.
Yep.
But the skills competitions are so fun, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
They returned them last year.
All of them, or did they?
Just some. I think it was the quarterbacks and then something else. I think dodgeball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did
right.
dodgeball.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Justin Jefferson won that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I remember that.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Except for the last 2 games. Danny, and that is what I got. Let me kick you with a strange law quick before we roll into some scores. Then
strange law.
Strange law. We have moved on from Pennsylvania, which is too bad. They had some classics. In Rhode Island, and more specifically in Providence, Rhode Island, it is illegal to sell toothpaste and a toothbrush to the same customer on a Sunday.
What? So, is it... Damn, I'm trying to put some logic to this. So it's God's day, right?
Yeah.
God doesn't brush with toothpaste, or what? Like, what's the? Wonder where they.
I'm lost on this one. I can't think of like something legitimate.
Yeah, there's nothing. That's bonkers.
That has to go back to like some. To me, it almost goes back to like a prison time or something like that. You know what I mean? Like to where you can't get the two at the same time, so that you can't go take it to the. Maybe it was like visitation day or something, like so that you couldn't sneak something in, and you're using the excuse that you have toothpaste and a toothbrush.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's what I'm trying to come up with is I have no damn idea why in the hell you couldn't, but
yeah, dude,
the same person cannot. So, me and you go in there. I'll get the toothpaste.
Yes.
You get the toothbrush.
Up. Yep.
But you got to be at least one other customer behind so it doesn't look suspicious.
Sounds like a win.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We share a toothbrush and toothpaste.
Man, I don't know. Some of these laws are nuts.
I would like to know the reason on like some of these you can kind of come up with like a quack thing. This one I have no idea.
Exactly.
I don't know where the negative would have been. You want to roll through just a couple of the better college football games before we get to the pro?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's take a look here. I do know, we'll get to the score here. I do know that we hit on that Clemson.
Yeah, we hit on a lot more college than we did NFL this weekend.
We did. There were so many upsets in the NFL that Miles told us, and he may say it the next time he's on, is he's not listening to he's like, I'm not doing a 3-gig parlay again. I'm like, why? We're that bad off? He's like, well, no. If I would have went with the underdogs on all of them like I normally do where I lose a lot of money, I would have been good this week. This time I'm like, there's a lot of upsets, dude.
There was big upsets, too.
Yeah. So let's see what we got here. This internet is pretty good there, Danny. Pretty good stuff. Clemson and Wake Forest. This was a close game. Came down to the wire. Actually went to OT.
Yeah,
and,
we did. We said it was going to be a close game.
We thought it was going to be a close game, high scoring. This line was 7.5. They won by 6. I went the over, I think, but barely over, right? And not quite there. But 51-45. Ogulile must have gotten over last year because he's turned into a different quarterback this year. 371 and 5 touchdowns, Danny.
Yeah, he balled out. Now, just keep in mind, Wake Forest doesn't really play defense, right?
Right.
So I'm still not that hyped on him. I do think the team's gelling more and more around him, though. I do think they're a really good team. But think about it like this, bro. Last year, when we talked about Clemson games and they'd be favored by 17 points or something, we're like, they're not even going to score that because they didn't last year.
Right.
They dropped 51.
Yeah.
Okay. They're so much more improved. They're a lot better. I still think 5's a little high. I'm still on board with that, but hell yeah, man, let's roll with them.
Wake Forest also got a little I'm a little impressed with them too because they also went blow for blow with them.
They did
because Clemson traditionally is a decent defensive team. That's what kept them in the games last year.
Right, exactly.
So that one, going blow for blow to show. I think Wake Forest got in a slugfest last year with like North Carolina, right? Wasn't that like a barn burner, like a college basketball score?
Yeah, that was like in the 60s, I think.
Yeah.
Listen to this, though. You just mentioned Goulier, however the fuck you say his name.
Yep.
Hartman, the quarterback for Wake Forest, 337 and 6 TDs.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Hartman knows how to sling her around there.
Yeah, he does.
This one I'm going to tell you just because I get a little bit of a chuckle out of this. Georgia, borderline had to sweat one out.
For a Georgia game, yeah.
26-13 at halftime. 39-22 for the final. Do you know who the opponent was? Was it Florida or something? Was it Tennessee? Bama?
No, I don't think it was, Jimmy. Who was it?
Kent State. Kent State. 1-3 Kent State.
They played down to Kent State. That's what happened here.
Well, Stetson Bennett, I'm telling you right now, that's what we get for talking Heisman. We're taking that away right now. Because you can't go in against Kent State and throw for only 272 and an interception. No touchdowns. At least passing.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got one running. I'm kind of trying to pop that up now.
No. Yeah, he did have one running, but he didn't play his best game. I legitimately think this is one of those games Georgia played down to.
Kind of like overlooked or looked past.
Yeah, a little bit.
I wonder who do they have next? Do you know by chance? Before we go
Georgia
down?
has next?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's check.
They got to be hitting that SEC.
Missouri, and then it goes to SEC, so Auburn is the next week.
Missouri is SEC.
Oh, shit. Actually, I forgot. They are. Yeah,
Yep.
You're right. So, yep.
So they start conference play. So they're thinking about conference play. They weren't thinking about the 1-2 Kent State. What, Golden Eagles? Is that what they are?
Yeah, it's in. But just to be real, like their SEC schedule isn't that tough anyway. Tennessee and Kentucky are the toughest games they have left.
Oh, before
the
the
SEC
championship game. Yeah.
Yep. So.
Oh shit. So they're gonna roll to that.
I think so. I mean, Tennessee and Kentucky look really good. So
Tennessee
we'll
looks really good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they just beat up Florida, I do believe.
Yeah, and Kentucky did that the week before, right? Or was it Miami? It was Florida, I think. But yeah, they're gonna roll. I do think that, man. They played down because when they've played good teams, they've blown them the fuck out. So we saw what they did to Oregon, and turns out Oregon is a good team. I thought Oregon was gonna be dog shit, but they're not.
Right.
That's how good Georgia is. So they'll be fine.
Quick touch base. Ohio State throttles Wisconsin 52-21. CJ Stroud 281 and 5 touchdowns.
Did you see what Marvin Harrison Jr. was wearing?
No.
He had Louis Vuitton cleats, and he was wearing his Apple Watch at the game.
Was he?
Yeah.
My guy.
This motherfucker.
My guy.
He just came on the scene. Bro.
I know he did, but you know what? You have to have something, right? Like you see enough of these cocky, arrogant sons of players that never turn out to be anything when they walk around. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a baller.
He is so good. Yeah.
So I mean, you're backing it up too. Like my dad is a NFL legend. Is he in the Hall of Fame yet? Yes. It's the other one that hasn't made it in yet.
Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, Reggie Wayne's the other one that didn't make it. So Harrison has. So
okay.
Dad's a Hall of Fame wide receiver. You're carrying your own at the Ohio State.
He's balling out, man.
Michigan, Maryland. I called this one for sure. I said this would be a close one. Maryland would be swinging with them, and it was a close one. 34-27. Touchdown. I do believe the spread on that was 17.
Yep.
We nutted that one.
Yep.
Michigan's running back, though, 243 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just, damn.
Yeah, that running back is really good, man.
Oh, Corum? Is that how you say it?
Corum, I think.
Corum? Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
30 attempts.
Yeah.
So they just ran his ass all day, which is crazy to see somebody with 30 attempts, but your quarterback still had 26 pass attempts.
Yeah.
So a lot of
it seems like they were
offense
kind of on the field. Yep.
Yeah.
On the field a lot. Upset Kansas State over number 6 Oklahoma, 41-34. I think it was you that brought up Adrian Martinez went bonkers in this game. The old Nebraska quarterback.
Yeah.
148 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. Good Lord. Nebraska's like, where you been?
Where you been, man?
Where you's been?
Yeah, I couldn't believe that when I saw it, and it wasn't that close. That 41-34. Kansas State was whooping that ass for most of it, and then they kind of went back and forth towards the end. That's really cool to see. Not so much for Oklahoma, but just for the upset factor, you know.
Yep. USC narrowly gets by Oregon State in an in-conference Pac-12 game, 17-14. Danny,
They keep finding a way to win.
yeah,
You know, they're not gelling 100% at all. They've got so much talent on that team, but come towards the end of the season, I think they're going to be really good. And all these little close wins here, they're going to really mean a lot.
that's exactly where I was going to go to. I was going to say, you know what? This right here is good for USC. A close battle against a good team,
Yep.
and you come out victorious. Doesn't matter what the score is. You came out victorious on the road. So all those are building blocks to that. Let's skip down. Unfortunately, your Razorbacks came up a nut hair short.
Yeah.
And I thought that because at one point they were ahead. 14-13 at halftime. It came back. It was so it finished off at 23-21 on the road. I was pulling for Arkansas. I think he threw like a pick six, or there was a fumble that got returned by Texas A&M.
Yep. And that running back for A&M is so fucking fast, too. There was a couple times he blew through the hole, and I was just like, what is going on? Yeah, really good game. I guess it's kind of one of those A&M couldn't afford to lose again, and so they were able to eke it out. I'm still a big fan of Arkansas. That quarterback is a fucking baller, dude.
Yeah.
He's Dante Culpepper-esque, like in size. You know, he just runs and fucking runs you over. I think he's like 260. He's a big boy. Fun game, though. I got it. What happened at the end? Was there a missed field goal? There was a chance where Arkansas could have actually taken the lead, but I don't remember how that played out exactly.
Okay.
But, yeah, really good game.
Then we kind of alluded to it. I said they whomped them, but Florida started making a comeback in the fourth. But final score, 38-33, Tennessee taking care of business, showing that they are, quite honestly, one of the best teams in the nation.
100%, man. They're real. The SEC is going to look a little weird this year, I think, with some of the teams that are up there towards the top. Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, just tough draw. Getting beat by Kentucky at home, then going to Tennessee and getting beat. But they're going to be fine, too, I think.
I think they'll be fine, too. So, go to by the way, side note here. Did you see the same thing? Or I think you posted it on our social media. The Herm Edwards. Did you see that shit?
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
So the AD or the administration was trying to fast track him getting fired, like give them an excuse to fire. So they were giving away
play calls and shit.
Play calls to the opposing teams.
Yep.
To fast track it. I don't know why you just wouldn't have fired him. You had enough anyway if the investigation was what it was,
Yeah.
That should have been enough right there, but
way over the top. Bro, did you see? I was on board with Miami this year.
Mm-hmm.
Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
Really?
If we got to give a little bit in their defense, Middle Tennessee has been to bowl games the last 15 years or something like that. So they're not a horrible mid-major is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It isn't like they're bottom of the barrel or anything. But still, yes, Miami, at home, right? I believe this was in Miami.
Yeah, this was in Miami.
Yeah.
You can't lose by 14 at home to Middle Tennessee. You did not see yourself with 2 losses at this point, let alone one of them being to this team, right?
Right.
Now, you're right. They are a good mid-major, I think. But when you look talent for talent, it's not even fucking close.
No.
Right?
No, not at all.
So that's when you're like, man, what is going on?
To me, that's system beating talent.
Yeah.
That's
agreed.
The
Totally.
perfect players and everything lined up, and everyone's buying into what you're doing, and it's
just like App State.
It's
right?
a program. Yeah, it's a program. This is what we do. If we keep doing this, we will win, and they have it instilled in their players. So, I'm a venture guess they match up again. If they match up the next day, it would not end up like that. You know
I'm
what
with
I mean?
You. Yep.
Texas Tech.
Whoo.
Upsets number 22 Texas. Now, I don't know how much of an upset you want to consider it because we talked about it. Texas, the Longhorns are dealing with some injuries.
Well, and remember, why did they get bumped to the top 25?
Because they lost.
A close game.
Yeah.
To who?
To Bama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they lost.
I drew a blank for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, they got brought
lost
in
the game.
because they lost
Yep.
to a good team. So they maybe didn't deserve to be there. Did you see the post-game speech in the locker room from the Texas Tech coach?
No, please inform me.
This motherfucker, I'm going to go play for him. Like, when I was watching this, I'm like, bro, I'm in. Like, let's go.
I'm sold.
Yeah. Who the fuck is... I don't want to look it up right now, but the coach for Texas Tech had everybody amped up, and he's talking about how they're the best team in the country, and he's like, we can beat anybody, and blah, blah, blah. Just hyped, yelling, and he just, man, I don't even know what else to say, but watching the video-
Joey Maguire?
Sure.
Sounds like it, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
He's a fucking motivator, though. I can tell you that, man. Those kids would have went out right then and played again because of how, fucking just get after it he is. So that was really cool.
So I got something coming your way right here. I want to listen to this because I haven't seen this.
Yeah.
It's only a minute clip.
Hey, I asked you to keep fighting. Said it's going to be, when we came out of half, we had 2 more rounds to fight, and you did. I told you they were going to break, and they did. I told you they were going to break, you did. The reporter asked me at the end, says, what's it mean to win this game and beat Texas? I said, it doesn't mean anything to beat Texas. We're 1-0 in the Big 12. That's what it means. That's what it means. Hey, I'm telling y'all right now, the country's going to find out. Everything runs through Lubbock. Everything runs through Lubbock. Hey, we're the team to beat if we keep practicing to get better. If we keep practicing to be better players. If we keep playing and fighting for each other. And no matter what happens, we just say, what's next? That's all we do. Because at any point in that game, you could have quit. But you didn't. Because you are built different. And the more and more you believe that, the more and more this happens. Hey,
So right now I'm about to run through a wall for this man, and I'm not even a Texas Tech guy.
I'm telling you, man, that
Yeah.
had me going.
Yeah.
I'm like sitting on the couch eating food, fucking watching that. I'm like, all right, taking the dog for a walk. I'm doing something.
I'm doing something
with a
angry
purpose
right now with a purpose.
Let's go.
It runs through Lubbock or around Garner, Iowa, whatever.
Whatever.
I like it. I don't know if you knew this, but this one doesn't matter. But 40-22, Washington over Stanford. The reason why I bring it up is Michael Penix Jr. balled out. And do you remember that name? Did we talk about this?
Why do I remember that name?
The old Indiana
That's-
quarterback that had bad luck with getting injured, but was balling out for Indiana, made them a contender there for a minute.
Yes, I do. I do remember this now. He's balled out all season, I think.
He has
to
been.
this point. So
yeah. What is he like? I think he's like a super senior because he keeps getting injury clauses or whatever. But 309 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dude is just balling out. I'm glad. The reason why I bring it up, I'm glad for him.
yeah, dude, Washington's 4-0. If I don't know, a couple weeks ago, Rio and I were talking about how they're not the Washington of old. They might be.
They might be better than the Washington.
Yeah, they look really good. And, competition isn't as separated in the Pac-12 as it has been in the past. So maybe they're going to shock some people this year.
They could.
Yeah.
Baylor, like I called, beats Iowa State at Iowa State 31-24.
Yep, you did get that one. Yeah.
I think I said a close game too, though, because
Yeah.
I told you I didn't want to go against Iowa State. I didn't feel good about going against Iowa State, but I just felt like Baylor was just a little bit better. They ended up finishing that out. Our Hawkeyes, we're stuck with Spencer Petras for the rest of the year. I'm convinced.
Keep winning.
One small note for the Hawkeyes, for us Hawkeye fans, which sucks. I'm a huge fan of this guy. Have been ever since he committed. Justin Jacobs is going to miss the rest of the season for the Hawkeyes. Outside linebacker, cash, whatever you want to call it, but he's a stud playmaker, kind of like an X-Factor player that you never think of. Going to miss the rest of the season. Soft tissue injury. They won't say exactly what it is, but it's knee. You can probably imagine what it is.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
That does suck, man. The only good thing is we're pretty deep there. I think if anywhere we're deep, it's on defense everywhere, really. You know what I
It
mean?
is. And we have layer upon layer upon layers of guys on almost every level. Defensive line isn't as thick, But linebackers
and
corners, and safeties, a plethora of. So it sucks, though. I am a Justin Jacobs guy. Don't know if you remember that story, but he was like a 2 or 3 star in Ohio. Ohio State never recruited him. Iowa did. He got bumped up to 4-star. He took one hell of a leap. His Ohio State comes knocking. He's like, no, I'm going to stick with the university that wanted me the whole time.
I love that.
So I was already a fan before he came. Before he came, as soon as I read that. So it sucks to watch that.
How many special teams and defensive points do we have that game? Like 17?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it outscored our offense again.
Yeah, but Petrus hit deep once.
Okay, so the one thing I will say about Petrus is not this game, but the game before, maybe in this game too.
Yeah.
He started throwing the fucking ball further down the field.
Yeah.
And he's hitting better passes. He's still not great. Even
if he's only hitting 50%, at least they're going more than a couple yards. You're at least slinging it downfield, giving him shots. You know? I seen something out of him this year that I haven't seen yet. I will. So you hear me beat on him, so I got to give him a little bit of love. I saw him swearing and flipping out on the sideline. He was so pissed off at himself. I haven't seen that all year. Been missing people 3-yard outs. Can't hit the broadside of a barn, right? Just moping off. He was fired up and he was pissed off, and you could see it. The camera's right on him, and I can't remember what the words were, but it was every bit of a couple of swear words in there. And you could tell he's pissed off at himself because he misread a play on a rollout.
Man. We need that competitive spirit at the quarterback position.
I don't like to see him giving up on himself, so hopefully this turns into something. Because we're obviously not going to see the guys I want to see anyways.
Hey, maybe the fact that France has kept him in there, despite the dog shit start of the season, made him realize this is his job. He needs to quit worrying about being risky. Throw the fucking ball.
Throw the ball.
Give your receivers a shot.
You have one of the best defenses in the fucking nation and special teams.
Yep.
You literally have nothing to lose. Wing it downfield. You have receivers. You have one of the best tight ends in college football behind maybe Mr. Bowers down in Georgia.
Yep.
That's what you have at Iowa. That's what you have every year anyway in a tight end. So you have weapons. Let's use it. I did learn, and I did not know this from the reason why he missed the previous game. LaShawn Williams, his father died.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Which really sucked, but he came into this game, and he ran angry, but with passion, you could tell. He got himself at least one touchdown for sure. So he's running. I sit there and talk that our running backs, that especially LaShawn, he'd come up to the line and kind of do one of these and just instead of just burst through the hole and see what happens, set the tone early on, then try to get fancy or try to find something. But just burst through the hole. Yeah. He did that in this game. He played. You could definitely tell he was playing with a heavy heart, but playing for proud pop. So
let's go.
Roll into the NFL, Danny G.
Yeah, buddy. Let's do it. What was give me your biggest, before we just go line by line.
Yep.
Biggest surprise of the weekend for you?
Clearly, this is very, very clearly, actually. I'm going to go down just to
clearly
double check.
To you.
Yeah, clearly to me. I'm just going to double check before I go and say it, though. Yep. Jaguars thumping that ass against the Chargers, 38-10. Not upsetting them like in a close 3-point game or even a touchdown. 38-10 at the Chargers' house. Now, usually that doesn't mean anything. We've laughed about it all like the last couple of seasons. But the Jaguars don't have an assload of fans either. So it isn't like they're filling that stadium any more than the Chargers would, right? Because they can't fill their own.
Yeah, bro. That's not the game I thought you were going to go with.
Okay.
But I guess it could be a toss-up. Regardless, every week that goes by, I'm a little more upset that we didn't even take a shot at Dougie P. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's obviously a very, very good NFL coach.
Yes.
I think he's already 5th all time in Jags
You
wins.
saw that
Did
too?
you see that? Yeah.
So he tied Urban Meyer, and he's only coached 3 games.
Hilarious, dude.
5th all time.
That team can be so good, and they're buying more and more in every win. And not just win, but damn, whooping that ass.
And just how jacked they are. You can tell the culture has been changed finally.
Yes.
They've been talking about for years and years and years, and not since I don't even know if it was that exciting even when they went to the AFC Championship with the Jalen Ramseys and that special year that they had where they got hosed out of going to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Watching that locker room after they do that, dude, it looks jacked. Like everyone's ready to culture. It's the word for it.
Yeah.
It legitimately is the word for it. It seems like the culture's finally turned.
Yeah. I'm not.
Were you going a different route?
Not yet.
There's so many.
I'm not
upsets.
saying I think we made a bad decision on our coach.
No.
But if things go the way as Vikings fans it typically does, in the end of the season we're disappointed, I think a lot of people are going to be looking at Jacksonville because right now they're definitely looking like a playoff team.
Yeah.
We're going to be like, why the fuck? Because we didn't even talk to him as far as I remember, right? Dougie P, was he?
No, because we occupied ourselves with shitty-ass Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, so we didn't even have a conversation with this man who
and
won a Super Bowl with the Eagles.
Can you remind yourself what did I say? If there was one, I remember saying that I wanted some Dougie P.
Yeah, we were both on the same page.
Yeah, we were both on it. Okay, I
Yeah,
couldn't remember who else I had the conversation with, but I do remember saying that I wanted me some Dougie P.
Yeah, we said him, and we need to talk to a boy from Miami that's now in Pittsburgh. Fucking the defense.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, Brian. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. We'll be thinking about that. I'm happy for the Jags. Your future Hall of Famer, potentially quarterback, is looking really good.
He is.
So
here's a good question for you. We talked about it a little bit at work. Is Trevor Lawrence worth picking up for fantasy right now? Because he is technically, no matter what league you're in, we do a 6 point per touchdown league in both of our major leagues, I think. We do 6 points per touchdown. He is number 11. So that means in a 12 team
he's
league,
a starting quarterback.
He's a starting quarterback. Most time that isn't what's happening. Are you picking him up? Or would you pick him up if you needed a quarterback right now?
Yeah, I would pick him up. I think it's tough. Normally, you want to look at, let's say you're like, God, I don't know if I can start my guy. Let's see who's on the waiver wire. Who are they playing? Normally, you'd want to do something like that, right?
You're going to stream them. Yeah.
But with Jacksonville, it hasn't mattered who they play.
Right.
So it's like, is that going to be consistent? We're 3 games in. I'm starting to buy in more and more. Yeah, I'd pick him up. I think he's worth it. Because if he's this consistent, you definitely take him over. Maybe even, depending on how Detroit looks with some injuries and stuff, maybe you take him over a Goff. Something like that,
Because Goff's the number 9 in ours right now.
Yeah.
He's hovering because I was debating on picking him up. But he didn't have exactly a very good game against bend, don't break Minnesota Vikings defense either. He only had 15 fantasy points himself. But I was thinking, Trevor Lawrence, I think, should be rostered now. I think
at
he's
least rostered, yeah.
At least rostered. I think, is he any different? And be honest, that I know we have a love infatuation with him. But is he really, honestly, any different than Derek Carr right now?
We're going to get into that, but no, he's not right now.
I mean, if you have Derek Carr and that's your starting quarterback, why wouldn't you at least back him up with Trevor Lawrence? Because they're the same, right?
Yeah.
And you can stream it a little bit.
Yeah.
But regardless, we'll end up getting into that.
No, but the game I thought you were going to go with is the Indianapolis Colts.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
So that still didn't shock me as much as the Jaguars.
Okay.
So, because
of the beatdown?
Yes, the beatdown factor. If that didn't happen or if that game was really close, it would have been that one. I was shocked that evidently I talked to a couple Chiefs fans. I asked them, what the hell happened? I'm not even poking fun at you. I really don't know what happened. How, usually there's some version of a reason something like that happened, right? Evidently, one Mr. What's that big Thomas? What's that big defensive tackle for the Chiefs?
I think it starts with a D. Is it Damian Thomas?
No, damn it! I'm gonna click on it now. We need to get better.
But
at
is
names.
he the one that got into it with Patty?
We need to get better at names. I'm so bad at that too now. What the hell?
It's not Damian Thomas, is it? I've got a D in
Chris Jones. Jesus.
Oh, so yeah.
Chris Jones. I was way off.
We were misinformed as hell.
We were misinformed badly.
Shit.
So Chris Jones gets after. I think he got a sack or he hit. I think he got a sack. I think he sacked Matt Ryan. And in fact, he got sacked 5 times in this game.
Yep.
After he sacks him, they start jaw jacking each other. Matty Ice and Chris Jones. A flag gets thrown, and it is for unsportsmanlike conduct on Chris Jones. Of course, the Chiefs fan is all pissed, saying that's horseshit. There's jaw jacking all the time. I'm like, well, get the microphone on him because I'm gonna venture a guess he he probably didn't because this isn't Tom Brady he was yelling at. This is Matty Ice. They would let some shit go.
Right.
Like he had to have said something bad.
Yep.
He had to have said something derogatory, depending on what the swear word is, because I know they let swearing fly. You know, it had to have been something bad. I'm like, they didn't just throw a flag just because, unless they misheard him. Maybe they misheard what he said, but they still thought he said something horrible, right?
Yeah.
Lit a fire under Matty Ice's ass right there because they were the Chiefs were ahead at that point.
Yep.
They were not from there on out. So went down and ended up scoring a touchdown in that game and taking the victory. So yeah, shocked.
Big time, man. It's you know, I think every year the games get more and more competitive. You never know who's going to win. This is a week we thought we're like, well, easily this is what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Wrong. The Colts have looked like dog shit until they beat the Chiefs, who are, in theory, one of the top 4 teams in the league, right? Mm-hmm. Insane. But fucking I love it.
He had been welcoming old Michael Pittman Jr. back, but he didn't get a touchdown, but you'll still take, you know, what do you end up getting? You probably 11.2, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
And that's all catches and yards, so.
Yeah, I mean, 9 targets. Jonathan Taylor, 21 carries. But
how are you feeling as if you were the number 1 or number 2 choice in the fantasy draft? You took Jonathan Taylor. He is not giving you what he gave anyone close to last year. He was carrying teams last year. Yeah. Literally fantasy teams.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know if it's because there's not enough weapons, so defenses don't have to worry, you know, kind of Tennessee situation or what, but he's not doing much yet, you know.
We were counting this up earlier. OBJ, from the time of his injury, it's been about 7 months.
Yeah.
It's been 7 months, give or take days, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Why in the hell has the Indy reached out to this man? I understand teams may want to wait. They want to see like a medical thing or whatever, but he's got to be close. You know what I mean? Like there's teams that legitimately need a wide receiver. And I don't know how this is a conversation right now. Indy needs another guy opposite Michael Pittman Jr. You have to respect OBJ bare minimum enough to where that safety isn't going to just over the top only look at Michael Pittman. You can't just one-on-one cover OBJ. So, I mean, that he'd command that at least.
Yeah, agreed. It seems like where OBJ has been looking, he's been at the sidelines of some games, you know, obviously LA. I know he's talked to Tom Brady, the Bills. Somebody hit him up for the Colts before the season, I think. I don't remember if he replied or not, but I know that, like, somebody's thinking about it, and they should. They need something else besides Pittman.
Right.
Not even just for Pittman, but for the running game. Right?
I was going to say, I don't know who else out there where you try to make a swing deal or anything like that. Like, this is, like, right there. I understand why he's not grabbed right now. Like, pay the little bit that you're going to have to even if you have to wait a month.
Yep.
At least he can get in there, get your playbook down, start watching video or watch game tape, all this shit, start getting it pumped into his body. He can still run nice routes or something after practice with Matt Ryan so they can get some timing down.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand why and it isn't just him. I'm talking about like the Packers, the Cowboys.
Haven't heard anything about that, yeah.
Nothing about
Cowboys
any of them.
is a good one too, yeah.
Bills need another wide receiver, especially for a championship contender like that.
Yeah.
The Rams. All kinds of teams. Tampa Bay especially. There's all kinds right now. I'm just shocked. But yeah, where were you rolling?
Those were the biggest surprises, I think, of the weekend. I'm just going through. Well,
the Dolphins is kind of a surprise to me. 21-19. If you want to, however you want to put this, what surprises you? Holding the Bills to 19. You know, Josh Allen threw for 400 yards in this game. He threw the ball 63 times, Danny.
Well, yeah, that's not even the worst part. Time of possession, 40 minutes for the Bills, 20 for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Tua didn't do much. That run game.
You saw You saw the butt punt, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So 2 things got hit this weekend that have been years. You know, we're talking almost 15, 20 years in the making. The infamous play that happened the original creator was jacked for this weekend. Number one was this one right here, and that is Mr. Mark Sanchez commented on it too. Like I'm pretty sure I already had that copyrighted.
Yeah.
He said something funny on there. It was good. He was laughing
good.
at himself. I like it. But he was the originator, and then you had the
Jimmy G.
the butt punt. Jimmy G and Dan Orlovsky is like a kid in a candy store. He's like, thank
Freedom!
you, Jesus. Freedom. Exactly. He's like, thank you, Jesus. You know, I'm not the only one. He's like, welcome. I think he said like, welcome to the club too. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think in the Bills game, it's like one of those, if you looked at the stats, you'd say the Bills won this game by 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get enough points on the board, obviously. I'm more than anything, I'm worried Josh Allen might actually have an injury with his hand. I don't know if you saw that at the end of the game. So he hit his hand on somebody's helmet, and they like, yeah, he's good to go. He's good to go. But you saw that last pass, right, where they would have won the game if he completed the pass to the dudes basically just running right there to the cone, open. If he connects with him, touchdown, they win the game. Straight at the dirt.
Oh.
Terrible.
Oh.
And that's when old boy got pissed off up there, the offensive coordinator.
So they made the right call.
Yeah.
To Ken Dorsey.
Yep, Ken Dorsey. Yeah, so they made the right call. Everything worked.
was
But
there.
Josh, and they said he's good, but that's not a pass that he misses.
Right.
Especially like that. So I am a little bit worried about that for him just to see what happens. But other than that, I mean, weird games like this happen, man. The Bills are going to be fine. When they play again in Miami, I think the Bills will they're going to remember this game. You know, they're going to have the receipt. They're going to take care of business. Because their defense played fine.
Yeah.
You know, they held them to a few enough points where they should have easily won, but they didn't.
Yeah, this one should have been in the bag. They did sack Mr. Josh Allen 4 times though.
Yeah.
So they got to him.
This is my thing about the Bills. The one thing, Josh Allen can't be the leading rusher every fucking game.
No.
Right?
They got an established run and stick with it. Devin Singletary has shown some spark. Believe in it. Trust in it.
Right.
This game was never out of hand for you to go away from the run game.
Exactly.
How was there 23 total attempts, 8 of them to Josh Allen?
Exactly. Almost half. Yeah.
I'm with you. You lost by 2. In fact, you weren't really even losing. You weren't losing till the fourth quarter.
Till the fourth quarter. Exactly. Yep.
Why are we not running the rock? I mean, I know what you're paying the man. We need to stop being insane about shit.
Yeah.
Like, just because you pay Patty Mahomes $500 million, just because you pay Josh Allen $500 million, does not mean they need to throw the ball 50 fucking times. It just means when you do throw the ball, you are making plays when you do throw it.
Right. You're winning.
You're winning, and you're
right?
winning.
Yeah.
You don't need to be the only reason that you win the game. You need to be probably a decent to good reason if you're getting paid that much. Otherwise, you're just Jimmy G is what I'm saying.
Yep.
Right? I'm with you. 63 pass attempts. Like, give one of these guys a shot.
Yeah. 100%.
Me and you are on Devin Singletary. Like, I don't understand.
When he touches the ball, he looks good.
He does.
Fuck.
I don't get it. Commit to it and go to it.
Yeah. The only way you can really gain momentum is if you give him give him a couple in a row, right? Then the next drive, same thing. Let him get some momentum and actually fucking get rolling. They're not even doing that. They're still great. I think they're still the team to beat at this point, but goddamn, that's tough.
We'll go over a few more here. You got you surprised by the Panthers over the Saints? 22-14.
Yeah, a little bit. I think that I think the Saints defense isn't what we expected.
Yeah.
Baker still looked like shit, but he had one lucky long pass. And Jameis just doesn't look great, man, with all that talent. I think his back.
No. I don't mean to cut you off. I don't. But we need to be careful with the word long pass. It was a bubble screen to Laviska Shenault who took it yard.
That's why I said he got lucky.
Yeah, lucky. Yeah. But when you say long pass, we're like making it sound like he airmailed it.
It was a Jimmy G pass. Right?
It was even a Jimmy G. It was a bbubble screen, like a high school play. And boy, took it yard.
Yeah, 60 yards or something like that, right?
67.
Yeah, yep.
And Laviska has that ability in him if he just get used like that. But yeah, what were you saying?
Yeah, I was just saying it's like Jameis, I don't know if it's his back. He doesn't look great. Kamara doesn't look great. New Orleans offense just doesn't. It's not clicking. Olave is their one bright spot right now. But that's really what I got on them, man. That defense isn't great. Last year, that's what was holding them in games. Mm-hmm. So you thought, okay, defense is good. Offense has a ton of pieces. They're going to roll. We both thought that. We thought the whole year they're going to be great, and their offense has not clicked at all. I haven't looked at Kamara's stats. I know he didn't look good when I watched the game, but
15 of 61. He had 4.1 average. He's not getting the catches, which hurts. So the one thing that is hurting both these guys, and this is, I think this
he
this
did
is
have
it.
7 targets though, only 2 receptions.
Right.
So it
Just something isn't quite clicking there.
Yeah.
This comes back to my thought process, and I think you can treat them both the exact same way, and that is Mr. Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey. They are both dealing with the same type of quarterback. And pause before you think I'm going insane here. I'm not talking about arm strength. I'm not talking about any part of like what's between the ears or any of that bullshit. What I'm talking about is if you go back and look, show me a year that they both carried a running back where that running back was tearing it up in receptions. They don't deliver to the running back very well.
Yeah.
The more I thought about it, I was like, God damn. Because it dawned on me today, especially with Jameis, more specifically Jameis. But I'm like, you know what? How many times do you remember him with Tampa Bay dumping off to the running back? He just doesn't. He didn't utilize it.
He doesn't. His average
yards per
attempt, or I can't remember what the there's a different term for it. But either way, his average pass is further than anybody else in the league.
Yeah.
He likes to throw deep, which is fun to watch, great for the other receivers. Really hurts Kamara, though.
And great for corners, too, because you have opportunities to pick it up.
That's true, yeah.
But the more I thought about it, I'm like, I don't think Baker really utilized that very well either. He liked usually one receiver, and he'd like a tight end.
Yeah.
He wouldn't utilize and turn like that, a 60, 70 reception running back into a guy that is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because, I mean, so when your comparison's good, I actually really like that. I think when you look at the running back comparison, McCaffrey was way more successful on the ground, 108. He only had 3-4 targets.
Yep.
So Baker does not use him at all. Yeah, that's a really good comparison. They're both, at this point, not good teams, right? They're not even competitive. Like
they're gonna be dwelling at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Both, as of right now,
we'll see what happens. Baker might be gone soon. So.
Yeah, we had hopes of the Saints. We think the Saints. I still think the Saints can get figured out. I think the back thing is a bigger thing than what even I'm making. I think it's even bigger. Like I'm blowing it up. I think it's even bigger than that. I think he's fighting through because he's too worried about losing his job, and he doesn't want to lose that job, right?
Yep.
Instead of taking care of that back. Yeah.
Yep, totally agree. I think let me ask you this though.
Mm.
You had a chance, Baker or Jameis? Who are you picking?
Jameis.
Okay, thank you.
All day.
Good. Thank you.
All day.
I just need him to show that. I've been saying that for a while. I need him to show it.
No, absolutely. That one all day. I do have a question for you before we continue with the games quick. And that is, I just want to see what the other one was. Quick. Okay. So I have 3. Actually, I have 4. I have 4 running backs.
Fuck, marry, kill. Is that what we're doing?
No. Well, shit.
Might as well. Let's do it.
I got 4 running backs, okay?
Okay.
And that is, I'm going to name all 4 to you right now. I want, in your order, your concern level. And how about we turn that into a 1 out of 5 of each one too? But you're still going to put them in kind of the order. But let me know like your concern level.
1 is like the most concerning.
5 is the most concerning. Like
most,
def level 5. Def level 1. It's like like nah, he'll get straight. Okay.
Okay.
Because I think all these guys are in the same concern level to a certain point. They're letting people down in fantasy, especially to a certain level.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott, Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris. Now, I believe, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I believe all these guys are practically the same right now, except for maybe Kamara. Kamara's maybe even been worse than all of them because the other guys have at least touched the end zone, I do believe.
Yeah.
Which one are you, if you could list them down for me, the most concerned?
Yeah.
And then maybe like how concerned you are with them.
Yeah, by far the most concerning is Zeke. And the biggest reason for that is because there's competition behind him that's better than him. Pollard's playing better than him, and Zeke has not looked nearly as good as the hype going into the season. So Zeke for sure, number 1. or as in the worst. Next up, I'm going to go Kamara. He almost there's certain points in the game I've watched. I don't watch a ton of New Orleans, but there's certain points in the game where he doesn't look as interested either. Mm-hmm. So there was one kind of funny video I saw of him like standing out and he just kind of whips his arm up like and then puts it down like to throw me the ball. And he did get the ball thrown to him and he ran for like 15 yards, but it was like he was just like,
going through the motions.
Yeah, going through the motions and that.
What do you think that is? Do you think that is something to do with like a little bit of injury, his criminal case ongoing, or the offense isn't the same?
I think the offense might be fucking with him because he was the guy.
Yeah.
All
Everything
surrounded him
centered
before,
around him.
right?
Yep.
But then I don't know what's going on with that criminal case outside too. That could be messing with him, right?
Okay.
So it could be that. But then Najee and Jonathan Taylor, I'm a a little bit more worried about Jonathan Taylor, if anything. I think they're really close. Him and Najee, I think, are way closer than the other two. They both get the touches. Najee needs to get maybe some more receptions, similar to Kamara and McCaffrey that you talked about. But Najee's getting, no matter what, he's going to touch that ball 20 times a game. Jonathan Taylor might not. And we don't know what's going to happen with Matt Ryan at the helm and how that offense has to change. They need more weapons. Pittsburgh has weapons. They just have a dog shit line. Mm-hmm. So they at least have that benefiting them.
And definitely a way below subpar quarterback in right now.
Right now.
We believe
Yep.
we believe our cat will go in here soon, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately what's going to happen too. Is the rookie's going to come in and he's going to play well, but he's going to utilize Najee because he's so good. Easy to throw to. Oh, somebody's about to get me. Hey, look, Najee's right there. Fucking get rid of the ball. Gain some yards.
Yep.
So maybe I'd give him a slight edge over Jonathan Taylor, but I'm not super worried about either one of those. Kamara and Zeke, I am worried about that this year. Yeah.
Okay. Definitely fantasy.
Yeah.
So in that case, you probably think of, if you want to put it that way, the first two you said, you'd be looking into selling if you owned them and buying if you didn't own the other two, maybe. Because you get them on the low.
Yeah, I think selling is tough. Maybe Kamara you could sell. Zeke, I don't know if you could sell right now. He hasn't had a game.
He just had one. Ish.
Sorta,
Ish. I mean,
maybe that's the peak. Maybe you're right.
maybe that's what I'm saying. But it showed
Yeah.
because if you watch the one touchdown run, he did run with some ferocity finally.
Yeah.
In that touchdown run.
You know what? Maybe for namesake, you try to trade Zeke for somebody like Chase Edmonds. Right?
You'd make that trade.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Chase is getting the goal line carries. He just had 2 touchdowns this last week against a tough defense.
And one hell of a good defense.
Yeah.
You know, that defensive front is stuck.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he's going to get better. I think Chase has started the season. They've got a little bit of a, they got 3 or 4 guys back there that could play. Who's technically gotten more carries there than Chase, the old boy from San Francisco.
Mostert,
yeah. He's looked okay.
it's okay, but he's not.
They didn't give him the
dominated
touchdown
it.
carries, right? Maybe something like that. If that's a little too risky, God, where else would you go? Maybe one of the Niners. God, I can't even say that. I can't even say that with a straight face because they get hurt too much.
That's the only thing that would concern me. So if I were to do that, if you want to stick with the Niners, I would do for Jeff Wilson Jr.
Yeah,
but I want the backup too
with him.
Like if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have the handcuff, that's coming in with the trade.
And you're gonna get that because of the name,
Right.
Because of Zeke,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd rather go with the flow of that offense and roll with that than. I don't know. I'm not trying to do Zeke hating here. I'm really not. But you're just missing something. Tony Pollard looks so angry, and he looks. Alexander Madison looks the same thing. I'm going to secretly get because we're going to be talking about the Vikings. Alexander Madison looks more impressive than Dalvin Cook. Alexander Madison runs angry. He's
Yeah.
running angry right now, Danny. Like he wants to get paid. You guys are all talking shit. All the reporters. I needed to get traded in the offseason. I'm running with a purpose. My guy over here, no offense, already gotten paid. I'm looking to get paid too.
Can't blame him. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And he looks a little more sleeker too, but he can still deliver the punch. It looks like, but
Yeah, I think, and this is no Zeke hate for me either. I was high on him before the season.
yep.
I thank goodness at this point I didn't end up drafting him in the first round. That got taken away from me because I would have. He doesn't look the same. Pollard again looks better. And so I mean, even if you tried to trade like a Pollard, you would expect more at this point than you would from Zeke, and that's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
That's your guy. That's who got paid. So
Yep.
yeah.
Where you want to go to next?
Let's talk Packers and Bucks.
That shit dicking game. Okay.
What the fuck?
Yeah. This was an ugly game, my friend. It was an ugly game to watch. So, in both of their defenses, including the goddamn Packers, there was a lot of injuries for both of these squads, including wide receivers on both sides, multiple wide receivers on both sides of the football. I think he was missing. Not to mention, I think he got Bakhtiari back. Was that true?
I think so.
At least in the pregame, I thought they said that he was going to be back. But this is a very ugly game. This is kind of what I was predicting. I thought Buccaneers would win. Buccaneers. The only thing I was right about on it is that the Buccaneers defense is the reason why they were in this game.
I don't give a shit about any of the game as an ugly game.
Yeah.
Packers went up big to start, and then they couldn't score,
Yeah.
right? Did you hear Aaron Rodgers' interview after the game, though?
No.
So, basically, the Bucs came down, scored a tutty. Could have got the 2-point conversion to tie the game, right? Delay a game. So, Tom Brady's up there. First, well, I guess, I'm skipping a play. Should have been a delay a game. Before that play. And nothing was called. It was a second after the 0, but they let a play go off. And I think that's the one they scored a touchdown on. And then, next play, legit delay a game. And so they got pushed back. So they got pushed back 5 yards. Didn't convert. Ultimately, Packers win. Aaron Rodgers gets interviewed. And they're like, what were you thinking during that 2-point conversion attempt? And he's like, well, they're like, with that delay a game and stuff. And he's like, well, he's like, they should have got called on the play before. And naturally, okay, yeah, you're right. But then he proceeds to say, sometimes they show things on the screen that they shouldn't show, even at home games. And I saw something, I passed the word on, and that's all I can say.
There you go.
So what I draw from that is there's a reason they actually got called for delay a game on that next play, because Aaron Rodgers said so. I don't blame him.
Yeah, well, there's certain people you're going to listen to. The refs are going to listen to either one of them. If you're a legendary quarterback, you can't blame him for that. Honestly, I cannot blame him for that. That is that's genius, honestly. They're not going to listen to coaches. They're not going to listen to the players. Aaron Rodgers walks up and be like, hey, brother, they're showing on their own teleprompter here that they're overshooting this. By the way, someone has to lose their job, right? Like the video person, you're not supposed to be replaying certain shit up there, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's the reason why you don't show the replay of a questionable catch.
Yeah, exactly. But ultimately, we've talked about how Tom Brady isn't the same this year. Mm. He doesn't make that mistake any year before this year, right?
Right.
Not at all. You're at the 2-yard line for a 2-point conversion, right?
Yes. Yeah. No. I'm with you 1,000%. But how many of those receivers are brand new? He was trying to get them in order and everything too. I'm with you. Something isn't right. I wasn't sold on this as soon as he came back. As soon as he came back, and there's something a little missing. He missed training camp, half of it. These Wednesdays, I think he practiced this Wednesday because he had so many new receivers, but just didn't feel right. This isn't the same Tom Brady. He has nothing else to prove at this point, and he had 1 foot out the door.
He practiced specifically Wednesday because old boy came.
Beasley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see him. I don't even know if he had a stat line in that game.
He did.
So.
He had 3 catches.
Okay.
He actually played. They said he had a lot of play time.
Okay.
Let me bring up his actual. I want to see his targets. I'm interested in that. He did have 4 targets, 3 catches. It was only 12 yards, but
okay.
That's what. Once they get the mojo down, that 12 yards is going to easily turn into 60 yards. That intermediate shit right there. That he's in a dink and dunk. And that 3 receptions is going to turn to 7 receptions.
Yeah.
It'll be somewhere in that ballpark. So he'll be a formidable 10 points.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
I think he has a potential for that. I think if Tom Brady is still Tom Brady, they'll be fine. I'm worried. They have not even scored 20 points yet this year. Last year they averaged over 30. And I know they've got some injuries, but man, you've got a really good running back there. You've still got talent on that offense. And Evans was only out a game.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I worry about the Bucs. The defense looks pretty good.
I mean, Russell Gage had 12 receptions. He was heavily used. 13 targets. And that's a pretty damn good receiver, actually. Like, people are forgetting, like, how good he actually was.
Yeah.
He was a decent, above average wide receiver for the Falcons that you never thought of because of the other weapons they had with the Falcons.
Right.
But you could always see a little something special in Russell. So it isn't like he had absolutely nothing going out there. He had a little bit of a chemistry with Brashad Perryman, too.
Yep.
Cameron Brate's been there forever. Evidently, he doesn't use tight ends unless they're fucking Gronk. But he has Kyle Rudolph there who knows how to run a goddamn route and catch a ball.
Big
Cameron
body.
Brate who can do it. So sometimes there's no. Maybe I shouldn't be making the excuse for him. You have enough there to people would die to have some of the weapons you have that are your 4 stringers right now.
Listen,
right?
they had 3 points going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're right.
Six going into the fourth.
They did
into the fourth.
Okay, so they had 6.
Yep.
Fuck. That's
Cool.
tough. I guess lucky for them, New Orleans doesn't look as good as we thought, right?
Yeah. True that, my man. That was a very ugly shit.
Yeah, we talked way more about that game than I thought we would, but yeah.
Run down the list quick and stop me if there's anything you want to talk about on those before we get to our game that gave us gray hair. Ravens stopped the Patriots. We already talked about the injury. Ravens 37-26. Lamar Jackson doing Lamar Jackson stuff still. 11 carries, 107 yards and a tutty. His passing was on point too.
3 touchdown passes, I think, right?
Yeah. Miles is on to something with the MVP chatter at least, right?
Yeah.
Bare minimum. I did have this one right too. Bears beat the Texans 23-20. Very close game. We thought this would be down and dirty, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool to see old boy come out of the tunnel though to face the Bears. That old head coach there.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cool. You kind of seen a little something in his eyes because that used to be a stomping ground. Titans upset the Raiders. I don't even know if you could call it upset anymore. 24-22. Derek Carr did go for 303 and 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry had a little flashback. 20 carries, 85 yards and a tutty. Little surprise is Matt Collins, wide receiver for Las Vegas, who filled in for the one Hunter Renfrow, had 8 receptions, 158 yards and a touchdown. Any interest in him? Even though Hunter may be back.
Not yet, no.
Okay. And you're definitely worried for the Raiders, right? 3.
I'm worried, but that division doesn't look as tough as we thought it would. So I am worried. 0-3 is tough to come back from.
All these teams, I shouldn't say that about this week. All those teams have faced formidable opponents up to this point. Technically, the Chiefs lost to the Colts, who we thought were going to be good this year anyway, right?
Yeah.
So technically, is it really a bad loss? I don't know. You know, I mean, competitive, and they always have had an ugly thing, Kansas City in Indianapolis, if you remember that. What was God damn it. Not Matt Castle. Alex Smith.
Yeah.
There was that playoff game up there.
I'm not. Yeah. Okay. 0-3. So I'm worried. Yes.
Yeah.
But not super concerning yet. Denver, their defense looks fine. Offense looks like shit. Kansas City, I don't know what to think of them yet. I feel like they should have scored some more points. And then obviously the Chargers just got fucking railed against the Jags. So I'm worried, but like the division doesn't look like world beaters at this point.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of something on the Colts. I think their defense hasn't played well up to this point, up to this game. And I think that's because they don't have – I'd have to go back.
Yeah, the linebacker.
Yeah, so – yeah. And I'm going to have to look at the Jaguars wide receiver. They have Christian Kirk. So one thing I'm noticing, if you have a wide receiver 1, a legit wide receiver 1, yep, right there. Brandon Cooks also for the Texans. Indianapolis is having a problem with that. I don't think they have the shutdown corner to take out a legit wide receiver 1. Now, what I'm getting at is that maybe this is overthinking it or whatever, but when you have a receiver like that, they don't have the ability to shut that down, right? So Brandon Cooks with the Texans had 7 for 82. I'm not saying it's a great day, but it's not a horrible day at the office, right?
It's a good day, yeah.
You're 7 catches, regardless, right?
Yep.
And then Christian Kirk, I do believe, balled out against him too, and he is getting paid like a number one, and he legitimately is playing like a number one
every game.
So every game so far. So it's not even a joke anymore. They go and face the Chiefs, who do not have a legit number one. Besides, and I'm not counting tight ends. Let's throw tight end out of the conversation. I'm talking about wide receivers. Maybe the Colts corners and the safeties are good enough to cover average wide receivers, and you don't have that one guy. I guarantee this game would have been different with Tyreek is what I'm trying to get at. If you had a legit wide receiver one to dominate this game, they don't have a guy to shut that down.
Yeah. Totally
they have a good core defense to take care of basically what they had.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That's my thought process.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, but that's also what makes me worry about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it. They
When
look
it's
great
go
against
time.
Arizona. Arizona's dog shit.
Yeah.
Right? Who else did they beat? I can't remember who else the Chiefs beat this year.
The Chargers after old boy got hurt.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay.
The Chargers were up by 10, I do believe. 10 or 14 at that point, and then old boy had his ribs fucked up.
Yeah. So, we'll see. I'm just saying I'm not scared of the division, right?
I got you.
I don't know if I'm sold on McDaniels yet, but we'll see.
That's there's a running little meme joke, half seriousness going out there that they don't think McDaniels will make the year, and he just end up back in New England. The reason why Bill Belichick maybe didn't name an offensive coordinator.
Ooh.
We're getting a little spicy here,
Yeah.
but you're not sold anything on the Titans, though, right? Was that more indicative of the Raiders or the Titans, or was that impressive for you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's impressive. I mean, both teams were in a must-win game.
Yeah, I got you.
And they played better. So.
Yep. Bengals take care of business against the Jets, 27-12. Your boy did throw 52 attempts again, Joe Flacco.
This man.
He did have 2 picks, though, so there's also the part of having Flacco do that because there will be games like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Eagles take care of business, but for a second straight week, Danny, they score 24 in the first half and get skunked in the second half. Same thing they did against the Vikings. Now, they ultimately won 24-8, and the Commanders didn't get their 8 points till the fourth.
9 sacks. The Eagles had 9 sacks, too. That defense looks really, really good. Don't get me wrong, Jalen Hurts looks great. Old boy had some phenomenal catches. Devontae did,
8
yeah.
receptions, 169 and a touchdown.
He had some
after game 1 of getting
goose egg.
0.
Yeah. Yeah. The offense looks like it should be able to do stuff, but I don't care what anybody says. 2 straight games where you don't score in the second half does worry me. You're playing really well for half a game at a time on the offense. Defense looks fine.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if the offense will be able to keep up.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So that's the reason why it concerns me a little bit. And I'll let you go with it, but that's the reason why it concerns me a little bit. What if these teams are closer, or I don't know, like definitely closer? Let's say it was 21-24. Is that where you're thinking, where like the fear of like, or maybe a little bit of worry, like, hold on, we aren't doing shit in the second half. That other team comes out and keeps rolling, we're fucked.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. If you look at one of the actual top tier teams, like the Bills, maybe the Chiefs, the Rams, something like that, if they're keeping up with you in that first half, what are you going to do in the second half? I want to be able to see that, right? It's kind of like we talked about Kamzat going 5 rounds. I want to be able to see you do that.
Right.
And show me what you can do. Same idea. I think they're a really good team. They're a top tier team, but are they at the Bills level at this point? I don't think so yet. I can't say that.
I don't think, no offense, but, and maybe it's a little Philly hate because of days, but nowhere near the Bills.
Yeah.
Not anywhere in the vicinity. And the Bills lost. I get that, but they're nowhere in the vicinity of them. I don't think they're in the vicinity of the Rams. The Rams have won. They know how to win. They have some question marks. That's mainly offensive line, but that offensive line last year too. They had like one guy that left.
Right.
The one guy isn't the whole offensive line.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. I agree. I
think there's teams. They need to show me something. That's what I'm building on. They need to show me something that they know how to play in the second half too. You need to carry on. Most of these points, most of those pass yards, all that stuff was in the second half, or in the first half. Sorry, where you got wait until one of those teams is not only hanging with you, but I don't know, weird thing. Wait until they're ahead of you and your defense can't pin their ears back and rush the passer only.
Right.
9 sacks isn't happen when you're up 24-0.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good point.
So
what we're saying is pay attention to these second half of these next games when it gets more competitive. That division, they should be able to roll through if they're that good, right? That division does not look good at all.
No, their record is showing they're all good, but we've watched them. The Giants are still competitive in that.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I'm going to back that, but
Yeah.
the Commanders are flaky.
Yep.
Cooper Rush is coming away with a couple victories. I think those are a lot of flukes right now. I mean, it's a
shit.
nice story. I'm going to love watching this when old boy comes back, and I want to see
That'd be great.
the moment they lose with Dak and everyone's cheering for Cooper Rush to come in.
Speaking of that, did you see Dak could be available week 4?
I did see that. I will not be starting him.
No.
No.
Definitely
This is
not.
the wait and see because he's coming back real quick. All of a sudden, old boy's winning.
Just like who? Russ.
Yeah.
Played like dog shit the rest of the year and into now.
Yeah,
so
he did.
Be careful.
He did his for a little bit different reason, though. I mean, they still had a shot at the playoffs at that
Mm-hmm.
point. Right. But Dak is doing this because of fear of his job because Cooper's
100%.
winning without him,
Yeah,
right?
your team's winning. Why are you
Yeah.
trying to rush to come back, man?
Yep.
Yep.
Ramble on down. Needed to load back up there. Let's see. Yeah, Eagles, Commanders, Saints, Panthers. We already talked about. Jaguars, Chargers. 38-10 at Chargers. Herbert 297 and a touchdown. Your boy keeps rolling, my friend, and that is Mr. James Robinson. 17 carries, 100 yards and a touchdown. Just kind of keeps doing his.
Every game he looks better, bro.
And he does.
Holy shit. That Achilles doesn't mean shit to him.
No.
Wow.
So I had a guy complaining today in our fantasy league. He's like, God, I was so sold on ETN. I'm like, I looked at him. I'm like, I thank you for taking him because I had ETN on my draft board. I really wanted him because I thought the connection, Trevor Lawrence and him, and I thought maybe new coaching staff, they wanted to get away from James Robinson because he kind of got dark horsed last year, unfortunately, for whatever reason, even though Trevor Lawrence wanted him out in the field. No. It's ETN's not getting what you think he's getting, and James Robinson just keeps doing his job.
Yeah, 100%. And just to be clear, when ETN touches the ball, he's doing fine.
Yep.
He's basically pass receptions, right? That's not so much James Robinson's wheelhouse.
Yep.
So Robinson's getting the rushes, getting the tutties at this point, but he is an important part of that offense. I think they are clicking. They're not even as good as they can be, dude. They've still got a lot of gelling to do.
Yeah.
And Dougie P, man. You gotta love him.
Dougie P, and we, like I said, we laughed at it. Christian Kirk.
Yeah, dude. Yep.
He was a wide receiver 3 with the Cardinals. We laughed our asses off that they paid what they paid for this man. And we're missing something. And yes, that could be Dougie P. Heavy dose of Dougie P.
Sure.
But Christian Kirk, kudos to him. You know, like fucking, I made fun of it. You made fun of it. Chris made fun of it.
Yep.
We all made fun of it. And you were balling, my friend. You were balling like a wide receiver 1. Kudos to you.
Yeah, at the end of the year, we could be talking about the quarterback, wide receiver, and running back being top 5 guys in fantasy football this year.
Playing in the flag football Pro Bowl game.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
Right. No, absolutely.
Yeah, and the
AFC
if I
South
were to
isn't
make-
that dominating.
if I were to make a bet right now, I'd say the Jags win the division.
Are you getting closer?
I'm getting closer.
Are you getting closer? How many more losses do you need to see from like the Colts? Because I think me and you are kind of on the same page when it comes to the Titans and
Yeah,
the
I'm not worried
Texans.
about them. The Colts, though, if
they get
gel,
warmed up-
dude, they could be the team to beat. But the way the Jags look 3 games in, shoot.
Liking every second of it, right?
Yeah.
Herbert and his weapons need to come back. I don't want to see this season get wasted.
Is the coach in the hot seat? Injuries or not?
No. 'Cause he hasn't made a bad decision yet, right? Not like
Not that
last
I've
year.
seen.
Not yet. So not yet.
Right.
You got to give him a little courtesy. You have a lot of banged up shit going on to see him get back. Hot seat if we're looking like if this continues.
Okay.
If it continues, we're talking a different ballgame. Rams take care of business against the Cardinals. I mean, technically it was a close game, but I don't think it really ever was.
Yeah, Cardinals
20
came back, right?
Yeah, 20-12. I think they got. Yeah, they got. It was kind of out of. Kyler Murray had 314. Cam Akers had himself a little bit of a game. 12 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown. Did have a fumble at the goal line. Should have had another touchdown. So getting a little more involved. Marquise Brown finally had a game though. 14 receptions, 140 yards.
Yeah, he had a big game. All right, let's talk about this. Zeke for Cam Akers right now.
Yes.
You would shoot for it, right?
Yes. Yes. I'm not even going to hesitate. Yes, because the only thing that scares me about Cam Akers, because I have him, is Sean McVay's system. When he gets hot on one running back, he likes to ride that running back. And if Cam Akers isn't that guy and he goes with Darrell Henderson, that's the only thing that would scare me.
It's true. It's just like the Niners, right?
Yep.
Whoever's hot, that's who's playing.
That's the only thing that would scare me about it. But actual talent for talent, I would feel more comfortable with Cam Akers right now.
Yep.
Because
he's warming up.
the more and more he goes, I would love if there's some way that you could get the deal to where you get Henderson and him for Zeke. I know you're pressing it. Maybe you toss in, give him a little fantasy advice. If you could toss in like a wide receiver with that Zeke trade, like maybe a wide receiver 3 or something if they need a wide receiver, and kind of toss that into that deal too to push it along. Go ahead and do that because I would do Cam Akers, but I definitely would want some Darrell Henderson just in case they,
Yeah, throw in,
I'm right there with
one
you.
of these rookie receivers that are doing really well. Like throw, if somebody threw that in, do it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely there, my man. Cooper Kupp was not the leading receiver for the Rams.
He's still the leading receiver in the league by like a lot.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
by
because
like 10, I think, receptions.
That's because JJ has fallen off.
It is.
And he hasn't fallen off. We will get to that. He hasn't fallen off. He's getting something that he's not used to getting.
Triple team?
Yes. Let's see. Quick one. Falcons Seahawks. Only thing impressive there is Geno Smith threw for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cordero Patterson had himself one hell of a day. 141 and a tutty, though.
Running. Not even pass catching, dude.
Yeah. Running the ball, 17 carries off that. Kyle Pitts had an okay day. Tight end's been kind of slow for him, but 5 receptions, 87 yards.
Good. He's due.
We'll talk about this very boring game in the Broncos 49ers. I don't want to talk too much about it. We talked about the fumble. We talked about the step out of bounds for the safety. Dan Orlovsky was thanking Jesus for that. Broncos still look like shit on offense, like you have alluded to, and I agree with you. Something's missing there. You want to blame the quarterback. I want to blame the head coach, and I'm still going to stick with that and the play calling because you're not using – if you want to ride with Russell Wilson, you need to understand one thing, and that is he is not a traditional drop-back passer. He's not Aaron Rodgers. Nathaniel Hackett, you got to stop. Because Aaron Rodgers – the man does stuff off of timing where you're supposed to be in the route, in the play. He can foretell it. He can kind of tell by like how that isn't what Russell Wilson does. Russell Wilson rolls out. He gets himself, and he rolls out deep too. He rolls out deep, gets himself because you'd say it as a joke, but he's short. Whatever he gets out, and he throws one of the prettiest deep balls you possibly can on point. Right, deep balls. He's actually one of the most accurate in his rainbow shot. I think they call it right.
Yeah.
They're not doing that. They're not playing to his strengths, so they're not helping him. I haven't seen him go off yet, as in, like, what the hell is going on? Can you do that at $245 million? But my point is it is not looking good there right now. Their defense is bailing them out. The only good thing you can take away from this for me, if I were a Broncos fan or just in general, is that they still won. They're winning in an ugly way. These dubs still count right now.
Exactly.
So if they get it figured out, this could be a very dangerous team if they
100%.
get it figured out, especially on offense. Their defense is ball.
Yeah, they've got at least one really good running back. You could say two.
Yep.
They've got Cortland Sutton, and hopefully some receivers get healthy other than him.
Jerry Jeudy is kind of his other kind of crossing route go-to guy. How would he end up having? Sutton did have 8 for 97, but I swear to God, Jeudy had. Seemed like he was getting targeted a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe I just caught one run of him. He had only 6 targets, 2 catches. So yeah.
Yeah, and Jeudy, he's been a little bit of a disappointment to me, but the defense is playing really well. They have all year. I'm good with that. Mm-hmm. The best thing that came out of this game, and I am a bit of a Russ hater because I don't think he's as good as people say, but the best thing that came out of this game was Eli Manning.
Yes, I know where you're going. Go it.
Should have paid that punter $245 million, not Russ.
Right.
Yes, sir. You're correct. There was one stretch of plays, I think in the second or maybe early third quarter, where Russ was starting to look really good. He's about to get sacked. He was making plays. He even did like a fucking chest pass with the ball, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. But then that was it. There was like a stretch, and then that was it out of him. And I'm like, man, if I could see more of that, I'd start turning, right?
Turn the corner.
I'm like, okay, Russ is back to being Russ, but I'm still not seeing it. So
the one thing that you just called out of that was Russ being Russ, though. Like he was moving. He was kind of improvising, right?
yeah.
It was outside of these play calls thinking that he's Aaron Rodgers. That's where I'm beating it down at. Like, Nathaniel Hackett, get over it. It's not Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and we definitely agree, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think, you tried to elevate Hackett because wasn't he the OC for the Jags back in the day?
Yeah, I tried to give him some props, and because they had a decent offense with what ended up being a shitty quarterback, right? And it ended up being all right, but.
Yeah, I think that, like, for some people, that doesn't mean you can be a head coach, though. In 3 games in, he's one of those guys. That's what I'm saying.
He is. I'm buddies with, I think you've met him too, Frenchie.
Yeah.
Chad Brent's at work.
Yep.
Diehard Broncos fan. He clearly said it, and he's a very simple guy when to talk sports. He said Hackett's over his head. Our head coach's over his head.
Yeah.
This is above him.
Yep.
So, they jumped all over. They should have grabbed one cat.
Hey, you know what? Maybe Peyton's in line for that job too. There's probably 3 or 4 now that I think about it, more than the Cowboys. Because you said Chargers, maybe Broncos.
For who?
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. Okay. Yeah. The billionaires up there.
They've got a good team.
They have all the stuff around.
If you believe in Russ,
if you
think it's the coach,
and I bet
you pay him whatever the fuck he wants to come in.
I don't think that's the type of quarterback that Sean Payton would roll with, though, because he wants a guy that is a timing guy. I get what you're saying, but he likes his timing guys. But it doesn't mean that he still want to go up there. Be like, hold on, is there a no trade clause on him?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? What's going on here? Do I have to get married to him?
Yeah.
Or hey, you're Sean Payton. Go ahead and do what you got to do.
There you
You
go.
Gentlemen, Cowboys Giants. Kind of alluded to it. It was a boring-ass game. CeeDee Lamb did have a gorgeous catch. I will give him that. He did have an ugly-ass drop earlier on in the game. That's been the story of this first few weeks, right? There's been a horrible drop every week of some kind. He ended up with 887 a touch. Cooper Rush led another fourth-quarter comeback. That is now 3 starts, 3 fourth-quarter comebacks, one of them against our team.
You got to give him credit for that, right?
You do. There's still some ice in his veins. I think he plays the game. Watching him, he plays the game the way it's supposed to be. He goes through his reads and he's not trying to overpower anything. He just does the pass that he needs to do. And I think he plays also borderline with no fear because I'm an undrafted free agent that wasn't supposed to be here anyways.
He got smoked on some of those throws
he
too.
Did. That defense was balling too. Those defenses were balling last night. I will say that.
I'm becoming a Micah Parsons fan more and more every week.
Jesus, just unblockable.
Yeah, dude.
Seems like every time I'm like, good God. You're right. Tony Pollard, 13 carries, 105 yards, and clear cut. If it was not for the broken touchdown for Mr. Ezekiel Elliott, which was a 27-yarder, he had at one point. I know at one point he only had
like 30-something yards.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. 3.7, so 30-something yards.
Yeah.
He only had 50. He only had 40. I don't know, 45 or 45 yards before that long run. He's just. You're right. He's not the. He out snapped it or out carried him by 2, but.
That's a situation you put yourself in. When you pay a guy, you feel obligated. He's got to play.
Yeah.
Even though he's not as good as the other guy.
I do not want to hear, after watching this game, and especially watching Cooper Rush do it with these guys, I do not want to hear that they do not have another wide receiver. I watched Noah Brown, and I'm actually impressed with Noah Brown.
Yes.
The dude plays out, shows out, and there's only 215 passing yards anyway to be had. He had 54 of them. He had 7 targets, 5 receptions. He was there almost. I don't want to hear that you don't have one. You definitely have a legit wide receiver 3 when Michael Gallup comes back.
Yeah.
You turn him into the 3. You have. I don't want to hear it.
Yep.
That'd be like me saying we don't have a 3rd wide receiver, and we do. We have KJ Osborne.
Exactly.
We do.
Agreed,
so,
man.
Whether you use them or not, it's a completely different story.
Yeah, dude.
Let's get to our heart attack.
Yeah, let's cap it off.
Lions, Vikings, 28-24, sir.
So we were down by 14 to start the game, 14-0.
Mm-hmm.
Then we were down by 10. I think it was 24-14.
We tied the game
at 14
at halftime.
Yep. And then they went up, and it was 24-14, and we're like, fuck. Yeah. Same thing as the first. I think first quarter they went up 14-0. But so great, bad, great, bad. Ultimately, we win the game. Great. Okay, cool. I do think Detroit's a better team, but I can't, after week 1, we do our thing and we get overhyped about the Vikings because they look so good. I still think they're not doing the same thing they did in week 1. They're not moving people around enough, especially JJ. I don't know how many videos that I saw. I watched the game, but after you really can hone in on what's going on. JJ was double, triple, quadruple covered. And Kirk, during certain points of the game, he still would try to look at him when you have somebody, you have different people wide open. I don't know. What do you think about the game? Give me your summary, man.
So I think there's something going on in Kirk Cousins' head. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in NFL history. It's a fact. And he always has been. He has been for most of his career. Last year, he impressed me a lot. I told you that. I think he turned a corner last year.
Yeah.
This year, after game 1, there's something not right because he's not his accuracy is even there. His bread and butter is there, and he's not getting. The 1 sack was allowed in this game. I'm not saying he's not getting smacked every so often, like after he's thrown. This. I already told you. Did I give you these stats yet? Let me run down some stats for you so you know. Mr. Christian Darrisaw, before the Monday night game, I haven't checked since. Before the Monday night game, Christian Darrisaw was the second-rated pass protector of the weekend.
I saw that.
Garrett Bradbury, through 3 weeks, one of our weak points on the offensive line, is the 6th-graded PFF center in the league through 3 weeks. And we already know what Brian O'Neill does on the right side.
Right.
Ezra Cleveland has been pretty damn decent ever since he took over a guard role. Our only real question mark, for the most part, but with growth especially, but is the rookie Ingram, and he's doing okay.
He's doing fine.
I think he's doing fine.
Yeah.
My point being is that that is not an excuse anymore. You're not getting mauled like what you were. You have time in the pocket. Plays are developing. There's a few things that they're not getting accustomed to. Number one, JJ is not used to. He may be used to seeing maybe a double coverage every so often, maybe. He's definitely not used to a double coverage with a third set of eyes on him too.
Right.
He's not used to that. That was happening, so he's getting frustrated. How do you kind of do that? Exactly what you're saying. They stopped moving him around after game 1, which makes no sense.
No sense. I have not seen him in the last 2 games get
moving
moved like
that.
they did. Yeah,
nothing like that. Maybe here and there, but nothing like game 1,
right.
Which is what they need to do. They find Adam Thielen way too late in these games. Like he just went from basically a Pro Bowler, 14 touchdowns and shit like that, to a bum that's almost retired now or something.
Right.
Like we forget about him. We forget about KJ Osborne. Like Kirk only has eyes for Justin, and it isn't working. And then he kind of does a bailout, and he's dropping it off to Irv Smith, who has a million drops this season.
Way too many balls.
Right?
Yep.
He's not even dumping off to like a Dalvin Cook or the running backs either. So it's Irv Smith after JJ, occasional here and there. So there's something going on between Kirk Cousins. He's getting that tunnel vision, which is scary in a bad way.
Yeah, I think that with Kirk, and you and I were texting during the game, he, for no reason, is throwing off his back foot or just throwing awkward when he's not even getting – maybe there's a little pressure coming, but he's not about to get hit.
No.
And when he does that, he's dog shit.
Yeah.
He cannot do an Aaron Rodgers and just fucking lob one up and he'll be on the money off his back
foot.
foot.
Very, very rare that it hits.
Dude, no. And you saw that in the game.
Yes.
When you look at his bad passes, off his back foot, moving a little bit too much in a certain direction, it just – He's not that guy.
No.
He's prototypical. Stand in the pocket, put your left foot forward, and throw the fucking ball.
Nope.
And that was the biggest thing to me was when he stepped back and he'd launch it off his right foot, it was really bad. So they've got to fix that. They've got to move JJ around. I'm not too disappointed in the defense, I'll be honest with you. There were some plays, but...
I was going to give you some stats on that too,
okay.
which, yeah, absolutely. But before we get right there, Dalvin had a pretty decent day, 17-96 and a touchdown. Looked like a spring chicken in. He's running. He was sprung loose. Then he got banged up. Got banged up on a fumble, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of – I have a funny story off the air about, like, anytime, like, an accident happens, like a bad play or something. Kind of funny.
Agreed.
But Alexander Madison came in. Its average isn't showing it in this game, 7 for 28, but – if you watch the game, he was stuffed on a couple before he became the starter for the rest of the game, and he ran angry after that.
Yeah.
That it was like 7, 8, 9-yard clips.
Yep.
Boom, 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 boom. He got himself a tutty that way too. Here's one for you. Not a single target Not a single target for Dalvin Cook in the passing game. Alexander Madison had 1 catch on 1 target for 16. C.J. Ham, 2 for 15. So that's out of the backfield. So he's not targeting them. Irv Smith had 6 targets, only 2 catches. And that's part of the point. But the run game was there. Offense, the numbers look decent to good. To the defense. Now, we're not getting sacks like I thought we would. That's one thing that isn't quite happening like I thought it would.
Yeah,
flying off.
Za'Darius. Yeah.
We have a few staggered, blah, 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 but it's not. We had none in this game. He got smacked around a lot, though. Jared Goff did get smacked in this game. He just didn't. None of them tally a sack. So, stats. Minnesota is ranked near the bottom of the league in yards per game. Allowed. 29th, 27th, 26th, somewhere in that ballpark. 26 lower, somewhere in that ballpark, right? Not good. 10th or higher in points allowed. In a good way. That however you want to put that.
I get you.
In the top 10. Points allowed. We're a bend don't break, which is always scary. I've never been a bend don't break guy. That shit is how you get gray hair, right?
Right.
Now, one thing that is highly impressive, I think they may be the only team, and if not, we're one of the very few teams left in the NFL. They have not allowed a score in the fourth quarter. Right?
I like that. Yeah, you're right.
We know Philly didn't because they didn't score again in the second half.
Yeah. In
And
Detroit's
then-
were in the third, so.
And one was Green Bay's. I'm going to look that up quick. The Minnesota Green Bay game. I don't know if they scored in the fourth. Because they only scored they only scored 7. And they scored in the third. So we have not allowed any points in the fourth quarter.
See?
So the bend don't break is working. We're still playing. I don't like some of the stuff we're giving up. We can, if you have a running back that needs a get right game, you play against the Vikings. The dude, we just whatever. We can't stop the run. It feels like, right? I mean, not. It doesn't feel like it at least.
Right.
I don't know where I am with the team. I don't know yet.
Still up in the air for
I'm
me
very
too.
I'm very uneven. I told you I don't believe they should have won that game. I was actually jacked if they would have lost because I was pissed because I'm like because we started looking for a bailout. I saw Adam Thielen of all people who does not do this traditionally.
He's pissed.
Start looking back at the
For
refs,
fouls.
looking for flags to
Yep.
bail himself out and his shitty quarterback play. Not shitty quarterback play. Looking for the bailout. I was like, what are you kidding? Just because they've thrown $1 million against them because they have been, that was not a flag, sir. They did nothing to you. That was
Not on
shitty.
that one.
Yeah, that was shit. And you're sitting there looking for a bailout.
Yep.
You guys are lucky you got a victory. You didn't deserve a victory in that game. The Lions deserved to win that game. And that wide receiver, that Amon St. Brown, who battled his ass off through that, even through injury, I gained all kinds of respect for. And they should have won that game. We are very lucky that there's a busted coverage on KJ Osborne for a game-winning walk-off touchdown.
Yeah. Detroit is a good team.
Yes.
Okay.
They're a battle. There will be games like this all year long for them.
Yeah, there are. I'm with you on that. I'm not sold on the Vikings yet. I did the normal thing. I got overhyped after week 1.
Because it was Green Bay.
Exactly.
Right.
But I'm not sold yet. We got to see more from the coach. Otherwise, I'll be calling for Dougie P pretty soon. Like, what the fuck happened there?
I'm still a Kevin O'Connell fan, but he's got to learn to find his thing and not run from it. You had success moving your receivers around week 1. There's no reason for you to leave that. Until someone stops you, you keep doing it.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't get away from that stuff. Defense, we need to figure out a way to get more pressure on the quarterback on a more regular basis. That may help, though, if we actually were ahead at some point. So you could pin your ears back. We just talked about that with Philly the opposite way, right? If we actually had a lead for a little while and they actually got to play defense like freelance and play like they want to, I'm interested to see what that defense brings then when they're not doing the trying to hold them so your offense can try to get you back into the game.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I'm interested to see the other side.
Absolutely. All right, my man. So you said you have a Makes Sense If You Don't Think About It tonight, right?
I do. I'm going to leave names out. So I go pick up my daughter. Makes sense if you don't think about it. This would be real short and cute. Pick up my daughter from school today. She gets in the vehicle, and I like to make sure my kids tell me about their day. Not like, oh, it was okay. No. I want some details. So they give me details, usually. Today, my daughter tells me, I'm going to keep names out. A little girl, she said that a little girl and a boy, a little girl broke up with her boyfriend today. I'm like, okay. I'm like, that sucks, but I'm thinking elementary, whatever. I'm thinking late elementary or something like that. I'm like, oh, everyone dates, right?
How old is your daughter, Jimmer?
My daughter is 8.
Oh.
So, but they all do recess. They all kind of know each other. It's a small town, you know. So I was thinking a little older. I'm like, well, how old is the girl? 8. So I started chuckling right there.
You're like, hold on.
I'm like, well, I'm like, why did she break up with him? He was cheating on her.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
I'm like, hold on.
What?
This is how. So my daughter is getting more and more grown. She talks more and more grown. It's kind of. But I'm like, how is cheating at 8 years old? Like, what's cheating at that point? You know, like I don't get it. He gave a cookie to another girl or something. I don't know, Dad. I'm trying to stay out of it. There's so much drama.
Oh my god! What? 8 years old.
I'm like, cheating. What? Makes sense if you don't think about it. Like I said, short, sweet, but I about shit a brick. I laughed my ass off when she told me this. I'm like, are you kidding right now?
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I remember being that young and being like, do I want to have a girlfriend? Like, what does it mean to go on do I date somebody? Like, do I have to take them to go get food? Like, do I just hold hands? I don't even know. Dude, at that age, you have no fucking idea what you're doing. Like, you're like, well, I don't even know what this means.
None. And then you're going to get made fun of by someone. Then you're not going to want to hold hands because, oh, man, see what you do with her. Oh, you hold hands.
Right.
Yeah, no. Yeah. No, they're on to cheating at this grade now.
Oh, my God. Cheating.
What do you think involves cheating when it comes to an 8-year-old?
God, do you think the guy was passing a note? Do you think he was holding hands maybe with this other girl? That's a pretty big deal.
That is a big deal about that age, huh? God, it just...
Jesus. What I love about that is you make your daughter tell you about her day. I do the same thing with my son. I'm like, yeah, how was your day? He's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, no. You're not doing anything until we talk about this. I'm like, tell me about it. What'd you do in... class, or what'd you do for recess?
What'd you have for lunch?
Yeah,
don't care.
Something, man.
Tell me about your day.
Give me something. I don't remember. Yeah, you do. When you're not about to get your Switch, you remember real quick. So let's go, buddy.
Right.
So I totally get that. They don't want to. They just want to go on and do what the hell they're doing.
Yep. So. And that was all my kids, but now I have them half-ass trained. At least my youngest son and my oldest daughter. Have them to where my son breaks it down basically by class, what they did, what they learned, and then what he had for lunch, and the whole works, or the options were for lunch, and what he picked for lunch. And
I'll take that all day.
Yeah, so I got to find the. I'm like, dude, I'm not moving this car until you guys tell me how. Now, I don't care when I say how was your day. I don't need it was good because you're gonna tell me if it's bad, or I'll be able to tell that your day was bad, right?
Right.
I want to know what happened in your day today. What'd you learn? Give me something.
Yeah.
Give me something that I'm not paying the school stuff for nothing, you know?
Yeah, see, it's amazing. Like, we didn't have that when we were kids.
No.
Like, how was your day? No, that shit never happened. So they won't understand until they're older.
Right.
Like, how important this time is.
Yeah.
That those, 10 minutes before you actually drive off to go home or whatever. Like,
yep.
That's cool. But the drama of 8 years old.
8 years old. I am not looking forward to her being a teenager. I am not.
No, man. But, hey, I have 15-year-old, and I can give you some tips, just so you're aware. But no, she's good shit.
Yeah.
I can't even say anything bad. But yeah, I think that's about time to wrap her up, man. We went long today. There were a lot of really good games this weekend.
Yep.
So hopefully everybody enjoyed our kind of recap on that. We do plan on having Sean McFadden on here pretty soon to talk about his fight up in the LFA, and eventually, probably within the next couple of weeks, we'll do some gambling too. We'll talk bets. We'll talk what you should take, what you should avoid, things like that over the weekend. But for now, we'll go ahead and roll out of here. So if any of you beautiful people found us out on the interweb somewhere, subscribe, share the podcast, give us a like, rating, that whole thing. It means a lot. It really helps us expand our reach. And speaking of podcasts, where's it available, Jimmer?
Anywhere and everywhere podcasts are available. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.
Yes, sir. And we do have a promotion going on for FitBod. So if you're trying to get jacked and juicy here before wintertime, instead of staying maybe a little overweight, maybe you don't feel good about yourself, check out FitBod. It's a really cool app. Helps set up all your workouts for you, whether you work out at home or at a specific type of gym. You can change everything up. It gives you everything you need to work out, to, whether you're losing weight, want to gain muscle, whatever the case. Really cool app. You don't have to track anything. It does it for you. Be sure to check that out. 25% off with code 3GIG.
25% off.
25. Good
Boom.
sir. Where can you save 25%? Anywhere else? Anywhere?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah. So be sure to do that. Save yourself some goddamn money. These the inflation numbers are outrageous. Gas prices are crazy, so save yourself some money there. But we've taken up enough of your time. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This is 3 Gig Sports.
We out.